Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sacramento County Local Agency Formation Commission meeting. I hereby call to order. Will everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance. Thank you, Linda. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Budge, for the extra effort there. All righty. I have the announcement. The meeting of Local Agency Formation Commission is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and ATT Uverse. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will be repeated Sunday, June 5th at 1 p.m. on channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/MetroCable14. And that is our Metro Cable announcement. My understanding is the clerk has an announcement as well.
I do. And after I give my announcements, I'll do the roll call. So if you could be prepared to unmute your microphones so that you can respond to the roll call. Lafco fosters public engagement during the meeting and encourages public participation, civility, and the use of courteous language. Lafco does not condone the use of profanity, vulgar language, gestures, or other inappropriate behavior, including personal attacks or threats directed toward any meeting participant. In compliance with the directives of the county, state, and Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, the meeting is live streamed and open to public attendance pursuant to health and safety guidelines. To make a comment on a specific agenda item or off-agenda item, attendees may raise their hand during the item to be recognized by the clerk and will be called upon to make your public comment. You may also send written comment to commissionclerk@saclafco.org, and your comment will be routed to the clerk and filed in the record. Okay, so roll call. Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Budge?
Here.
Desmond?
Here.
Frost?
Here.
Little?
Here.
Liebig?
Here.
And the lowly.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. And now we have the public forum, public comment. Do we have any speakers online?
No, we don't have anybody online at this time.
All right, thank you very much. Chair will entertain a motion for consent calendar, please. Consent items.
So moved. Second.
Been first and seconded. Please call the roll.
Okay. Can I ask who did the first? That was so quick. And who did the second?
I moved. And Rich.
Thank you.
We are on the ball, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Commissioner Budge. Commissioner Budge. Oh, yes. There you are. Yes, thank you. Commissioner Desmond.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
The lowly.
Aye.
Little.
Aye.
And our Chair Jones.
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor. Motion passed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Did I hear Liebig?
Aye.
Okay.
Have we all been accounted for, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, our next item is public hearing items. We have a public hearing to consider and approve the final budget for fiscal year 2022. So we will, if the staff has some information on our proposed budget, and then we will open for public hearing.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, good evening. This is the hearing to approve the final budget for LAFCO. And it includes funding for fiscal year 22-23. As you know, the budget is approved in a two-stage process. At the March meeting, you heard the proposed budget and approved that. And this one is to approve the final budget. The final budget does not contain any changes from the previous, from the proposed hearing. And I'm going to share my screen for a second to indicate and highlight the budget for overall. As noted at the March meeting, the final budget looks a little bit different from your reports that you receive as part of your monitoring of agency expenses, in that your budget as presented here, and as you can see here, has regular employee costs. Those are actual, in your budget reports that you receive monthly, those are actually lumped under other professional services. And that's because, as you know, LAFCO staff are actually employees of the County of Sacramento. LAFCO then reimburses the county for salaries and benefits. So for purposes of adopting your budget and for the public to see, the regular employee costs are included in the category of employee costs up at the top, but on your monthly reports, those costs then show up under other professional services. So as you can see, the regular employee costs are scheduled to go up, and that's because you authorized the hiring of a policy analyst. And I can provide an update later on, but I'm excited to say that it will be posted on the county job website soon. I just authorized a brochure that will accompany it this afternoon. So hopefully we will be spending June combing through applications and selecting employees with the hopes of having someone by your August meeting and then being able to introduce him or her. So continuing on, as you can see from the budget, the majority of your expenses really are in the services and supplies categories. Some of them have been adjusted downwards to reflect basically what we've experienced in reality in terms of actual costs. Some of them have increased depending upon again, on real life experiences. So for example, for legal services, that category was always underfunded. The reality is that the 112 that's in your budget is actually more reflective of costs. It's not necessary that our legal expenses are going up. It's just it's more reflective of actual costs that we incur. I should note that we budget so that we have the costs for legal. Some of this is partially refunded by applicants if their application requires their legal expertise. Same thing with the other professional services. This category is down. We do basically budget upfront to make sure that we take care of the costs upfront, because we don't know when we would be in a position to bill the applicants and have those costs partially reimbursed. So in your agenda item for consent in your contracts, under item 4.4, I actually broke down which consultants we can have a partial refund of costs or reimbursement of costs based upon their level of expertise. So again, the budget really has not expected to, the budget has not changed from the budget that you reviewed back in March. As you can see, it's about a 3% increase over the current year, but that should be able to absorb all of the costs that we expect to see in the coming year. For members of the audience, the budget attachment is also included under item 5.6, which would be category 5, item number 6 total for the agenda. So that concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have. Madam Chair, you're on mute.
Thank you. Hey, do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions or comments for our executive officer? All right, Jose, thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. And with that, I will officially open this for public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone on the line for public comment and during this public hearing review?
No, we do not.
All right, going once, twice. Public hearing is now closed. And we have several recommendations. Chair will entertain a recommendation for adoption of resolution LAFCO 2022-04, approving the final budget.
I so move.
Second.
It's been first and seconded. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Budge,
Yes, with the note, Gay, that you actually said 2022-04, and it's really 2023.
Okay, well then, it's on page 105 in our staff report. Thank you very much for, I will clarify that. It is our resolution 2022-04, approving the final budget for fiscal year 2022-23.
Got it.
I tried to save some time. My apologies.
okay.
So I believe with that clarification, we still have a first and second. And Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
And I have Commissioner Budge with an I,
Yes.
Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
Little,
Aye.
Liebig,
Aye.
Laloli,
Aye.
and back to our chair, Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Wonderful, all in favor, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The fourth recommendation there is to direct staff to transmit the final budget. I think that's pretty much standard fare, correct, Jose?
That is correct, Madam Chair. It's under the law.
Okay. All righty, thank you so much. With that, we'll move to our business items. And our first business item, which is on page 115 of our agenda packet, is to continue discussion on meeting remotely. And this is continued from our March meeting. Jose, would you like to take the lead on that, or do you want me to?
Sure, Madam Chair. This is just a continuation on the discussion that you had in March relating to returning to in-person meetings. As indicated back in March, staff really has no preference whether you want to meet in person or whether you want to continue meeting remotely. The only thing that we would request is try to go all in one way or the other, simply because hybrid meetings are very difficult to conduct. And so if you are going to be meeting in person, that basically there's no broadcast until the legislature compels us to. But if you're going to continue meeting remotely, then of course we'll continue recording and be able to host these meetings via Zoom.
Move approval of Frost.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay,
Yeah, we should probably state that we're approving continuing to meet remotely.
Correct.
Yeah, I thought that's what you meant, Sue.
and also I see no one for the public comment, so we'll open and close the public comment. Commissioner Budge,
Yes.
Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
Little,
Aye.
Liebig,
Aye.
and Laloli.
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor. Motion passed.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, we're going to move on to business item number 8. Resume discussion on creating an MSR project plan. Just a small little item there. Jose, would you please take the lead on that?
Sure. Just a small item, nothing consequential. As indicated in the discussions that the commission has had since February, there are several agencies that either do not currently have current MSRs or MSRs that are very much outdated. And and staff basically had different proposals that the commission could consider. And one of the things that that I indicated in the staff report, basically I broke it down by the types of categories and the types of services and whether or not an MSR has been created. Staff, upon thinking about this over the last few months, I think that you do have money in your budget to be able to bring in some consultants to help out, even with the analyst on board. It would only be the two of us, and assuming that the analyst actually is someone who has had experience writing MSRs. You might have someone who is qualified to do LAFCO work, but have never conducted an MSR before. So then that would entail some training. In addition to that, I remember being very green and writing my first MSR and acne all over the face and trying to figure out what it is that I was trying to do. But that does take some time. And so I think that it could be a two-pronged approach where we bring in some certain consultants to assist with updating some MSRs, while staff here will also be writing MSRs in addition to other work that we do. Right now, there really isn't any much of a preference for in terms of what to tackle first. My thought, honestly, would be that the order of priority should be concentrating on water districts, especially the smaller water districts, and then concentrating on getting those done. Bring in some consultants to help us out with the big water districts, the ones that are more complex, and then once those are done, then working on either the fire districts or the cities. We do have a couple cities that have not had MSRs that have been conducted, and so doing those would probably be the next ones on the horizon. So that concludes my staff report. In terms of where you want to go or what you want to prioritize, that's a commission call. I think that we're ready to implement what the commission decides in terms of what our priority should be. Of course, the commission could think that maybe fire districts should be the next one in line. So whatever the case may be, we're ready to hit the ground as quickly as we can.
So, Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes, okay. Commissioner Budge and Commissioner Little, please.
Okay, so Jose, it sounds like there is a definite staff preference for doing MSRs for agencies of all one category, take them each by category, as opposed to the alternate discussion of who's never had an MSR or whose is dramatically out of date or something like that. Just do everything in one category and get through that category regardless of the date or non-existence of an MSR.
You can actually, that's not what I mean to say at all. I mean, what I meant to say is there is a logic to doing them by category, in that you're able to basically ask everybody the same question, and hopefully you'll get,
Of course.
But the commission could add an additional caveat in there that we basically, among a category, we concentrate on the ones that are done first, or that have not had MSRs done first. So that's the kind of direction that and refinement to the idea that staff is soliciting from the commissioners. That if you want us to concentrate on agencies that have not done an MSR first, and we do that, and we concentrate on our efforts on that, then we can certainly do that. And if the commission has subcategories, in order to prioritize everything, then we can work on that as well. So I don't mean to imply or lead you to a specific direction. I'm just using that as kind of as an example of,
I understand. And personally, I think your initial comment was extremely logical, especially because starting with water districts is a good example. You need a consultant on providing water services. So that consultant can be on board at the point that that all of that study was done. And then within that category, as you're saying, if you don't have one, you get to the top of the list. If you've got a more recent one, you get to the bottom of the list. Very logical.
Mhm. Thank you. Commissioner Little.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think the logic of this makes a lot of sense. And I also think Commissioner Budge's point of focusing on perhaps within the group, the prioritizing those that have not had or have not had one done for a long time is important. I do think starting with water makes a lot of sense for a lot of different reasons, predominantly because you see what we've got going on with Del Paso Manor, and perhaps some consolidation of other water districts. And I just think that water in itself is such a critical issue right now that if we're out, we should be out there out front looking at this and making sure that these municipal services are being addressed properly. So I think that's our role, is to oversee that, and I think that's important right now.
Thank you, Commissioner Little. Commissioner Frost.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to ask a couple questions. I'm thinking these MSRs are not inexpensive, so it's a financial commitment and time, not only from staff, but financial commitment if you're calling on consultants. So my first question is, did the budget, how does that 10-year plan impact the budget, and was that how was that in the budget? I'm not sure I focused in on that, and I may have missed something, so this may not be a good question, but I remember the last Cal Lafco conference I went to, and they were talking about how an MSR is like 125,000. It's a lot, and so I don't know what it is today. That was a long time ago. So how does that impact our budget?
Sure. There's actually money in the budget, about 225,000 for fiscal year 22-23, that can be utilized for the MSRs. It would be a competitive bid process, unless noted for several reasons, one of which we will get to in item number 10. So there is some money in that category, and basically what we would want to do is identify the biggest targets, right? So if we're gonna go down the category of doing water agencies first, and then going by a sub refinement of agencies that have not had an MSR, we could basically go out to bid and see what the price tag is going to be, and that I like to put in a not to exceed amount in the contracts, just to make sure that number one, we don't need to budget contingency, and number two, we have an amount certain that we're going to expend. So there is some money that's there. Obviously, I don't recommend that we spend all 225,000 on MSRs, but try to get done as many as we can within the next fiscal year. Given that even if we outsource an MSR, it still takes up staff time. Usually consultants rely on Lafco staff to be the ones that coordinate meetings with the agency, with the kickoff, and then subsequent meetings with them. I obviously have to review a draft to make sure that it's complying with the law, and that it's trying to anticipate commission questions, that they get addressed, et cetera. So you're right, it's going to cost us money. How much money is it going to cost us? I don't know. Usually some consultants, from my experience, the more districts you give them, the bigger the discount they can give us. And so it might be one of those things where, maybe we go out for, let's say, 5 medium-sized districts that have never had an MSR, and then see what kind of price we get. And I usually ask in the RFP, give us a total price to do all 5 of them, and then give us a price for each individual MSR. And then, so if we can't afford the big price tag, maybe we can pick and choose districts and at least get those done.
That sounds good. And I agree with Commissioner Little that water is a good place to start. And I also like in your staff report, you talked about the not as active or, agencies that are not seeking annexation, not prioritizing them. But also there may be, from time to time, there's a district that's struggling and those might be prioritized just in case the MSR can help them. And those are my comments and I thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Frost. Any other fellow commissioners have comments or questions for Jose? Okay, going once or twice. All righty. I would like to, on behalf of myself and my fellow commissioners, Jose, that was an incredible report and analysis for different approaches to MSRs. That was to me, that was a half of a doctoral thesis right there. So thank you very much for all that work. That's huge. And we have things that have been pushed upon us for priorities, including the Del Paso Manor water, as well as the Sacramento area sewer district and regional sand. So we have water and wastewater issues right in front of our face that we need to address. My sense is that sense of urgency, we need to do that right away. And we should, Jose, we should be able to get some reimbursement from these agencies. It might be on the back end, correct?
Yeah, I don't believe we'll get anything from Del Paso Manor because that was a requirement from the grand jury. But on the regional sand and SAC sewer, if they proceed, and by the way, I attended their meeting last week, and they seem to be it seems to be in the favorable direction in terms of consolidation. If that occurs, then yeah, we can request a reimbursement on that. At the very least, for regional sand and SAC sewer, it is part of their Hood Franklin or providing service to the Hood Franklin application. So, I'll need to talk to staff, whether they want me to charge for the MSR just right to that project, or they want me to wait for a potential consolidation one. But that one we should be reimbursed for.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was trying to be generous with Del Paso Manor and also assuage all of our concerns with the cost and how we fit that into our budget. So, and I need to apologize to the commission. I did not realize that we did not have an MSR for regional sand or Sacramento area sewer. I thought we had them for the our two large cities in our area. So now that we've identified the vacancy, so to speak, we need to start filling in. And I think the Del Paso Manor, the ones that are listed in item 10 and 11, should get us off to a pretty full start within this next budget year. Do you concur, Jose? Or at least partially, 51%?
Yeah, I do, Madam Chair. And I also wanted to thank you for your kind comments earlier regarding the staff report. Mm-hmm. I'll submit it to UCD right away.
You're halfway there. All righty. So let's see, what is our, do you feel we've articulated enough direction for you, or would you like a particular motion or vote, Jose, for direction on this?
If you want to, I think I have a good idea. What I'll be doing for the next couple of months is basically putting a project plan together based upon the direction that you've given me, and then submit that for formal adoption.
Well, I think we have a consensus for the issues right in front of us, and I'd like to get some kind of a consensus. I mean, in your report you mentioned water, wastewater, and then kind of sort of a distant third for me would be fire districts. I think that is a reasonable list to begin with, and I wanted to get a consensus from my fellow commissioners on that.
So I'll move approval.
Oh, sounds good. Do I have a second?
Second, Lindsay.
Thank you, Commissioner Liebig. Very good. Madam Clerk, for posterity here, would you please take the roll?
Sure. Who, for the record, who gave the motion? Who made the first?
Budge.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Do you want to ask if there's any public comment?
Yes, we do. And over on the public comment, we have nobody in the public side. So
I'll have to get my husband to sign up just so we have some sort of participation here. This is pretty.
We'll get thousands of YouTube hits, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Try TikTok. We might be better on that one. Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
okay, Commissioner Budge,
Yes.
Desmond.
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
Little,
Aye.
Liebig,
Aye.
and Laloli.
Aye.
Wonderful. Thank you. All in favor, motion passed.
Chair Jones says aye as well. ma'am.
Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. Chair Jones, thank you
It's
very
all
much.
good. We're working through this team effort here. All right, thank you very much, everybody. We're moving to business item number 9. Consider and approve, submit a letter of support for AB 2957, which my understanding it's the Lafco Omnibus Bill. Jose, would you like to say a couple words on that one?
Yes, I will. These are basically non-controversial technical changes to CKH to basically clean things up. Lafco has requested a letter of support so that they can, as the bill moves through the legislature, it can note that Sacramento Lafco supports the bill. And I do recommend adoption of a support letter.
Move approval.
Second.
Desmond.
Okay, tie for second place there, Lindsay and Desmond. We'll go alphabetical order. Make it Desmond. Lindsay, you're up. You'll be up next on that one. All righty.
I don't
first
believe
and
we
second-
asked for public comment on that. So,
Mhm.
and again, we don't have anybody to make a public comment. So we'll close the public comments. And our first again was Lindsay
Budge.
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 Okay. And who was the second for posterity here?
Desmond.
Desmond, thank you. Okay. Commissioner Budge,
Yes.
Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
Little,
Aye.
Liebig,
Aye.
Laloli,
Aye.
and Jones.
Aye.
Wonderful, thank you. Again, all in favor?
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to item number 10, approve contract with Plan West Partners for the preparation of municipal service review and sphere of influence study for Del Paso Manor Water District. It's on page 140 of our agenda. Again, I'll call on our executive director to make the pitch here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item basically is for the approval of a contract for Plan West Partners to prepare the MSR and SOI for the Del Paso Manor Water District. As you know, this is something that the grand jury had requested. And the last MSR on Del Paso Manor was over 10 years ago. So Plan West Partners actually has a very good reputation in both in general, but also with the conducting of MSRs for water districts. And in fact, one of the last things that I did in El Dorado County was for Plan West to prepare the MSR for water districts up there. So the cost is actually not to exceed $24,216, which is very reasonable. Lafco will be absorbing those costs out of this budget, out of the 21-22 budget. And we should be able to prepare or have a draft public document by November 2022, which is what this commission had indicated to the grand jury. And so we would be in compliance with that. And in fact, that's actually a contract requirement. So it's within the scope of services, which were included as an attachment to your staff report, and I recommend approval of this contract.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from commissioners?
Short question.
Ma'am?
So given the previous discussion and the fact that you have prior knowledge of this company, then this is really kind of, for this body, this is kind of the trial run of using Plan West Partners as a potential consultant on other water districts.
That is correct.
Very good.
And something that, to consider as well, for those of you who don't know, my wife's an architect and she works a lot with school districts. And what school districts tend to do is they circulate an RFQ in which they solicit consultants to basically be put on the list
Right.
based on the qualifications. And then from then on, basically those consultants are the ones who are selected to do various jobs. And so that might be something that this commission may want to consider doing as well.
Other municipalities do that too, Jose. That's very common.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other comments from fellow commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Sir.
Rich Desmond. I just want to thank you, Jose, for your work on this, and very much trust your judgment. Appreciate your experience here, and I'm when it's appropriate, I'm prepared to move to support the item.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. Oh, it was Commissioner Frost has a comment.
Second, Frost.
Second. Thank you. Any public comments, Madam Clerk?
No, we don't have any public comments.
Thank you. It's been first and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Budge,
Yes.
Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
Little,
Aye.
Liebig, Commissioner Liebig,
Aye.
and Lowly,
Aye.
and Jones.
Aye.
Thank you. Again, all in favor, motion passed.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll move to item 11, which is on page 160 of our agenda. Approve contract with Policy Consulting Associates for the preparation of a municipal service review and sphere of influence study for Sacramento Area Sewer District and Regional Sanitation District.
Madam Chair, this one, it's a very sensitive topic simply because, as indicated in the staff report, the two districts, the Sacramento Area Sewer District and Regional San, are looking to expand wastewater services to two disadvantaged communities in the county. That would be the communities of Hood and Franklin. The costs are absorbed by, will be paid for by the state of California through a grant. And this is a time-sensitive thing because these two districts don't have a municipal service review prepared for them, let alone an SOI, and which is what's needed in order for them to extend services. So I've been working with the districts to apply a two-pronged approach, of which the respective boards approved last week, which is they will first seek an out-of-agency service agreement that will be submitted to your commission for your approval so that they can extend services into the outside of their service area. And this is consistent with the law. That way, any time issues that are related to the grant by the state of California are negated. They will then follow up with a formal annexation proposal, which would include an expansion of the sphere of influence and the annexations of the communities of Hood and Franklin. I'm very confident that all of the T's are crossed and I's dotted and vice versa for to ensure that basically the services will be provided to those communities without any growth-inducing effects for any sewer lines that are being created that go through agricultural lands, or at least lands that are currently in agricultural production. However, even though the out-of-agency service agreements removes a lot of the issues related to timing, I'm still very sensitive that we don't want the Lafco process to kind of trip up any grants that may occur as a result of the endeavor of servicing these disadvantaged communities. So this is actually sole sourced to PCA. This is a company that I have not worked for, but has had a very stellar reputation statewide, both by other LAFCOs and in particular the expertise of wastewater services. And in fact, they were the recipient of a CalAFCO award probably about 5 years ago for an MSR that they prepared. So even though I have not worked with PCA, I'm very comfortable with the work that they do. And because of the timing issues, I felt that instead of circulating an RFP, just go to them directly, ask them to give me a quote, and they prepared it. The quote, as I indicated, is 26,515, which is on the staff report, which is very reasonable. Again, this would be costs that are eligible for reimbursement later on. So LAFCO will set up the costs up front, but we will be reimbursed at some point. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments from my fellow commissioners? Are there any questions or comments from the public side, Madam Clerk?
No, we do not have anyone in the public side.
Okay. In a second, I'll entertain a motion in a set. Well, do we already have that? Motion in a second. I wanted to again commend Jose. Thank you for grabbing the, or you not grabbing, but being cognizant of the out of service area extension of services outside boundaries. That was a critical role in helping to save this grant for those two communities. That was excellent work. I appreciate that. And I would also, just to point out, if timelines become a concern, we can always call a special meeting if LAFCO needs to approve, have a discussion, approve, public comment, etc. We can always put up a special meeting in order to facilitate these grant approvals. And with that, first and second for this item.
Move approval.
Second.
Take your pick, Diane.
I got a second from Liebig. I didn't see who did our first. Was it Desmond?
Budge.
Budge. Okay.
All right, we have a first and second. Please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Budge?
Yes.
Desmond?
Aye.
Frost?
Aye.
Little?
Aye.
Liebig?
Aye.
And Liloli.
Aye.
Once again, oh, Jones, sorry.
Yeah, Jones is here. Aye.
Wonderful. All in favor once again. Thank you.
Thank you,
Motion
Madam Clerk.
passed.
Thank you. Moving to item number 12, review and approve a new document retention policy. Everyone's excited about this one. Jose, why don't you take it?
Bureaucracy at its finest, Madam Chair. This is one of those things that long overdue. I want to start my staff report by thanking council for helping with the development of this policy. Basically, this is to provide staff with some guidance in terms of what to do with older documents. One of the things that I actually are going to follow up with you in the coming months is the digitizing of some of our records, especially some of the permanent records. I was joking with someone that basically there are 3 offices in the LAFCO World Headquarters. However, there's technically a 4th office, and it's all taken up by paper. If you ever visited, you know that we have a record retention room in the back, and that file room is huge. And if we ever need to move, or if there's ever a fire here, we're going to lose a lot of documentation, which, you know, I'll be honest, does keep me up at night. So this will allow us to be able to determine and prioritize how to dispose of records, when to keep them, and what we can do with them once they've been digitized. That way, we still maintain open transparency for the public in terms of our records. And in addition, we also have additional fail-safe that if we do have to dispose of documents, those will be documented and they will present it to the commission, so it becomes part of the public record of what things were disposed of. And again, it would be consistent with your policy. So I request that you adopt this policy. We'll include it as part of your guidelines, policies and procedures, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I have a comment. So really, Jose, the first time you brought this to the agenda, I laughed. I think everybody that I've ever known that was a part of LAFCO since 1978 was in that list of documents. And the history you have there is just phenomenal. So I would suggest, once you get to the end of your digitization project and you're trying to decide what to do with the physical copies, talk to the Sacramento room at the library. I have given them so many
Good.
old maps and old posters and things that you wouldn't think anybody but would want, but they may very well have the ability to hang on to stuff like that. So please check with them.
Commissioner Budge, that's a great idea. Just in case, the just in case stuff.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as an aside, my wife is actually in the middle of a master's in history, and as part of our class, they brought in the state archivists. She's an architect and she's getting a master's in history. But anyway, we're talking about one of the head state archivists, and when I mentioned about the disposal of records, the look of horror on her face.
They immediately volunteered.
Yeah, I can understand, but at the same time, you're right. We do have some historical records that need to be retained in paper form, but the California Constitution is not housed here, and so just from a space saving alone, being able to digitize and dispose of some records will go a long ways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, Rancho Cordova's in there from 78 through 82 or so, and there's not many of us who actually have those documents anymore. So believe me, you're speaking to my soul here, Jose.
Mhm. All right, very good. Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much. Are other commissioner comments? Any comments on the public side, Madam Clerk? Oh, you're muted. I'm thinking not.
Move approval.
Second, Frost.
Okay, we have a first by Commissioner Budge, a second by Frost. Please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
And Frost. Okay, and thank you. And no, there weren't any public comment. Thank you. Commissioner Budge,
Yes.
Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
Little,
Aye.
Liebig,
Aye.
and Lowly,
Aye.
and Jones.
Aye.
Once again, all in favor. Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you. We're 194. We're going to be on page 194 for our next item. Approve the first amended and restated agreement for Lafco Staffing Services. Mr. Enriquez.
Madam
Clean
Chair,
up
we
back
are
on
breezing
this.
through these items. This is one of those cleanup efforts to ensure that we can hire analysts later on. This is a restated First Amendment and restated agreement for Lafco Staffing Services. Basically, it adds the position of analyst as one of the positions the county will fill on behalf of Lafco, and again for Lafco to be reimbursed. This agreement is scheduled to go before the board on June 14th. It also needs to be approved and signed by Lafco and signed by the chair in order to make sure that we have everything documented and both parties agree to it. As I indicated earlier, the position is open right now. It's got the classification of pending board approval since neither party has adopted this resolution. But once that occurs, I would be able to start interviewing and possibly making offers to qualified individuals. So I urge your approval of this agreement.
Move
Thank you,
approval.
Jose. Okay,
Move approval.
Commissioner Little moves. Who's second?
Second.
Lindsay.
Second, Lindsay. Any further comments from commissioners or the public?
And no, there's no public comment.
Please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Budge,
Yes.
Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
Little,
Aye.
Liebig,
Aye.
and the Lowly,
Aye.
and Jones.
Aye.
Thank you once again, all in favor. Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Enriquez, for moving this along and getting it done. We greatly appreciate that. All right, we're into correspondence and informational items. Oh, we have a number 14 on here, and guess what? It's Del Paso Manor Water District. An update with correspondence.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I included a written update that I meant to give to you at the April meeting on how Del Paso Manor was doing. So up to April, that report is current. And I also included for your review, as you know, I was requested to be a respondent to the grand jury status response on Del Paso Manor. And as a result, I replied basically that the recommendation of creating an MSR and SOI for Del Paso Manor be created. And of course, we agreed to that. The commission just made another step towards ensuring that gets done. And starting tomorrow, I'll be in conversation with the consultants to determine what they need right away so they can start. So as a result, the only other update that I have on Del Paso Manor really relates to where they were at. I was invited to their last meeting a couple of weeks ago relating to hiring a grant consultant so that they can pursue certain grants. The general manager is confident that that there are some grants that the district is eligible for, despite the income. And since they don't necessarily apply for disadvantaged community status, he does think that under health and safety, there are grants that the district qualifies for. And in addition, they're going to be hiring an additional engineer since one of them has left. So that is the update on where they're doing. Next week, I'm going to attempt to do another 2x2 committee meeting between Lafco and Del Paso Manor and schedule that up. It will be a few weeks from now, but hopefully we'll have something that can be scheduled over the summer. And I don't know if you have any questions for me, but I can answer them as necessary.
Any questions from the commissioners? Are there any comments or questions from the public?
No, there's not.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, thank you to Commissioner Desmond and Executive Director Enriquez for pushing through this. It's a lot of responsibility to wade through this and try to get rectification for all the issues that were brought forward by the grand jury. So thank you very much. I believe there's no action on this. It's just received correspondence. And we come to our last area of discussion here, questions and announcements. Executive Officer, Commission, Council. Do either of you have additional comments for us?
The only thing that I wanted to say is just kind of give you again an update on the hiring. As I indicated, the position is up because other departments also use the same classification for their roles. So the position is up. I indicated months ago that there were interests from other LAFCO professionals from around the state. I won't name them because I don't want my colleagues to know that I'm going to be potentially poaching from them. But there were interests from other analysts around the state to come to Sacramento. And in addition, so I've notified those folks and I approved the brochure that will be accompanied to that position for LAFCO this afternoon. So hopefully that'll hit the website next week. We have two cutoffs. The first cutoff is on the June 8th, and then the second cutoff will be on June 29th, I believe. So I won't be able to interview until then, but I am allowed to review the people who have applied for other county positions, but they're under that classification. So at least I can start reviewing and going over resumes. So my intent really is to have someone on board by the time you meet again in August.
Thank you very much for that diligence, Jose. Thank you. Any comments or questions from commissioners? For the sake of procedure, anything on the public side, Madam Clerk?
No, there's not.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, we're Commission Chair and fellow commissioners, anyone have any comments? Okay, I have a quick one for the good of the order. Please bear with me. On October 19th through the 21st, we will have our Cal Lafco conference, annual conference. If things, hopefully the health situation, et cetera, lets us avail ourselves of an in-person conference this time. Anyway, those are the dates, October 19th through the 21st at the Hyatt Regency in Newport Beach by the John Wayne Airport. And that is the introduction to my request to my fellow commissioners. This is a commissioner-driven conference. If you have topics or issues that you would like to see addressed in a breakout session or a general conference, please contact myself or Jose. We are the we're the lead for the program. Trying to make a joke here, but this is a serious thing. We are the lead for
the whole program.
For the programming.
Oh my word!
Programming. No, and it's okay. What we're going to do is get great suggestions from all you folks, and we'll put together some speakers and some panel discussions. We don't have that much space for the breakout sessions and such, so all the more reason, if you have an issue or a topic of interest that you want to learn more about, please contact myself or Jose, and we will do our best to get it on that agenda. So that's my pitch.
Interesting.
If anyone else, if there are no further comments, going once, twice, thank you all very much for your attention in our meeting tonight. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you,
Everyone.
Kay. Good night.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.